Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mike. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing great today. And in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Autel EVO Lite Plus and my first impressions of this brand new drone. The first thing I want to start off with is that yes, Autel did send this unit to me for free. However, they don't have any control over the things I'm going to say in this video or any other video for that matter. All the opinions are 100% mine and I'll try to not be biased in any way, shape or form. So with that being out of the way, let's begin with my first impressions of the EVO Lite Plus. The first thing I noticed after opening the box is that the Lite Plus is really similar in its appearance to the EVO 2 Pro, which of course makes sense, but when it comes to the size, it's very similar to the Mavic 3. That's the reason why I've put them here side by side so you can see them, but it's a really nice mixture between the Mavic 3 and the EVO 2 Pro, coming in this amazing orange color that I personally am a huge fan of. To me, it's kind of mandatory if you're going for an Autel drone, it has to be in this orange color. It just really, it sticks out and it's something that I really like. When it comes to the build quality and the materials that have been used to make this drone, there really are no surprises. Similar to the Autel EVO 2 Pro, the build quality is very high. I'm a huge fan of the carbon fiber arms and legs of this drone, and it folds out the same way as it does on the Autel EVO 2 Pro. And it just really looks like a shrunk version of the EVO 2 Pro, which is a good thing. Something that I immediately noticed after powering on the drone for the very first time is that you have a really nice blue color on the front LEDs, which makes it really easy to spot the drone in the air, especially during the night when this makes it even more visible in the air. I had the chance to fly the drone for a couple of hours yesterday, and I did go to a couple of different locations to see how it will perform. And one thing I can immediately say is that this drone is extremely smooth. Usually when I get a new drone, I always go to the settings so I can tweak the sensitivity and the smoothness, the reaction time and of the stick input. But here I didn't have to. It was smooth straight out of the box, and I managed to get some cool shots, I think. For some B-roll shots, I let the drone hover for a while and I just observed how the drone stays in the air. It was just rock solid, it wasn't moving at all. And I was quite impressed by that because it was a little bit windy, so even with the small amount of wind, it was not moving at all. Now, this drone promises to shoot 6K footage, which is really not the case. It's 5.4K. I don't know why Autel keeps saying 6K when it's really not the case. However, the colors straight out of the camera are fantastic. I have to say I was quite impressed to see the results on my computer. And this is a footage that has not been tweaked in any way. It's straight out of the SD card and it looks amazing in my opinion. I was quite surprised, however, there is no lock color profile on this drone as of right now, but I got a message from Autel telling me that they will add lock color profile as well as some other features very soon via firmware update, which is kind of like the new norm now with DJI shipping the Mavic 3 without many of the intelligent flight modes. Now Autel is kind of doing the same thing. They have introduced the drone without some of the most important features of it. However, at least we know it's coming, as well with some other features that are not present on this drone, like dynamic track, for example. So stay tuned for that. I will test this out as soon as it's available. Especially the tracking feature is very important to me, as the tracking on the Autel EVO 2 Pro was just really bad. I cannot wait to see whether they have improved that on this drone. When I first started setting up the drone, I immediately noticed that the remote controller is actually quite comfortable. On photos, it didn't look like a very nice controller. However, in your hands, it does look and feel very solid, very nice. It has that Xbox feeling. It's very similar to an Xbox controller. If you're a fan of those, you will appreciate this one as well. One thing I miss though is this dial on the right side. I don't know why they didn't put a dial on the right hand side of the remote. You have a dial on the left hand side for your gimbal controls, it would have been nice to have a dial on the right as well. It kind of looks missing right now because you don't have one. However, it would have been great to have one for aperture control, for example, or for any other setting that you can tweak from this dial here. Other than that, you already know, if you've seen videos from other creators, that you don't have a dedicated spot to put those stick ends for the remote, which is not a big deal to me. I have so many extra pockets on my backpack. Yes, it would have been great to put them here on the bottom, for example. It's not a huge deal if you don't have a dedicated spot for them, but it is a con after all. The RC link quality was great. It's definitely come a long way since the EVO 2 Pro. The feed that I was getting on my phone was very, very smooth, very high quality, and I would say it's definitely a step in the right direction, because previously I had some bad experiences with the EVO 2 Pro. So now definitely I can see the improvement that they've worked on for the Lite Plus. And generally I feel like this remote is definitely the right way to go compared to the previous one, which was not very comfortable to hold in your hands. I do miss the screen a little bit. However, that's not a big deal. As we all know, this drone is not as expensive as this one, so it makes sense to not have all the things we've seen on the higher, more expensive model. Finally, when talking about the remote controller, I would have loved to have a dedicated switch here in the middle for switching modes. Right now you can switch the modes by clicking on the top left corner, I believe, in the app itself. So you can switch between sport mode and smooth mode and normal mode. Or you can go to settings to tweak that and change it from there. But it would have been a lot easier to do that from the radio itself, which is something that I feel like we have the space for right here on top of that power button. Would have been great to have. So I flew this drone at night as well. I wanted to try out this night mode that this drone comes equipped with, which promises to work with an ISO of up to 48,000, which is quite impressive on paper. You see the shots, so you can definitely tell for yourself whether they are good quality or not. Personally, I am happy with those. I do like the fact that this drone automatically applies some noise reduction to your shots, and it's not very aggressive in a way that looks bad. I do like the clear look of those night shots, but I feel like it could be a little bit better when it comes to adjusting for the shadows. The shadows are kind of dark, which is always the case when you're shooting at night. You have a lot of dark spots in your image which look like a giant black blob on your screen. But this is my first ever try with this drone at night. I'm sure I can squeeze out a lot more out of it. And keep in mind, in all of these tests and all of these shots that you see, I shot everything in auto. This is something that I always do for my first flights with a new drone, because I want to give it a chance to see how it works, how it thinks, and how this brain inside the drone operates when it needs to adjust from a brighter spot to a darker spot, for example. I want to see that in action, and then I can of course switch to manual mode. I can start using ND filters and set my own aperture and shutter speed and white balance and everything else. However, for the first flight, I always rely on automatic camera settings. When talking about automatic camera settings, there is something that I want to mention, and that is that you still have this little overexposure in the highlights. Sometimes when you shoot something with a lot of brightness in the highlights, you will have this overexposure in the highlights. You can see that in the waves, that they're just a little bit too bright. However, I think you can definitely battle this by using manual camera settings and the right ND filter and the right shutter speed, of course. So I will test that out in the future to see whether you can really see that in the final footage, or you will still have some overexposure in the highlights. And finally, I want to mention something that I noticed while looking at my footage, and that was that sometimes you can see the props in view, which I was surprised to see. When examining the footage, I saw that sometimes you can see a little part of the props inside the footage in the upper left corner or the upper right corner, especially if you enable that 30 degrees pitch for your gimbal, so you can look up a little bit. You will be able to see that when you're flying straight, sometimes when you're doing a little turn as well. Keep in mind, for this shot I was not flying in sport mode, it was just normal flight mode, and still I was able to see the props for a bit. I'll make sure to ask Autel why that happens and when that happens, so I can give that information back to you. Overall, first impressions of the Autel Lite Plus, very positive. So it's a really nice, smooth flying drone with nice colors straight out of the box. If you're one of those people who don't want to color grade their footage, this is going to be perfect for you because it produces some really high quality footage that straight out of the SD card looks phenomenal. I do miss the lock color profile, and I am excited to check out this dynamic track feature, but I know Autel is currently working on that firmware update, so we'll see them hopefully very soon. Make sure to stick around and subscribe to this channel so you can see those videos as soon as the firmware update is ready. I will go back to check out these new features, and stick around so you can see me use this Lite Plus in a variety of different scenarios and locations. Like I said, I am excited to give it a go, and who knows, it might actually replace my Mavic 3. It has the potential, especially if DJI keeps screwing up with the firmware updates. This might go, but you never know. Anyway, this is Mike from Drone Supremacy. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what do you think about the Lite Plus in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe for many more videos to come.